What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Whiskey Explorer. Thanks so much for tuning in for another episode. And if this is your first time to the channel, if you could please do us a quick favor, smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave us a comment down below, let us know what you think about this whiskey, and we'll continue the exploration and the conversation here at the Whiskey Explorer. And tonight, guys, we have got our Jameson Irish drinking hat on, and we are about to try Jameson Caskmates Stout Edition. Alright, so the Jameson Stout Edition is essentially Jameson that's then been finished in craft stout beer barrels. So this, of course, is just your triple distilled classic Irish whiskey. Jameson, of course, produces a ton of whiskey for Ireland and ships it all over the world. Sort of a famous whiskey brand for sure, famous Irish whiskey brand. And this is then finished in, it says right here, whiskey finished in craft beer barrels. So I did check the label and I checked on the back there, and it doesn't actually stipulate how long it's been finished in those beer barrels, but it's finished in the stout beer barrels, so we can assume that the Irish whiskey has taken on some of the stout characteristics. So possibly expecting some chocolate, espresso, maybe some coffee notes in there, some vanillas. We'll taste the whiskey and find out. All right. So looking at the color in the glass here, I already noticed that this is just a little bit darker than a traditional Irish whiskey. So if we had regular Jameson and if it hadn't been finished in the stout barrels, this would actually be a lighter hue. It would be sort of more of a golden straw color. But we can see here it's probably taken on some of the coloration of those of the secondary cask of the stout barrels. So we've got a little bit of a amber tone or a copper tone to the whiskey here. So nice inviting color actually on the whiskey. All right, let's go in for a nose. Cheers. Oh, wow. Wow, this is an interesting nose. So I get a huge hit of banana on the nose. So it's like vanilla, then there's like banana, so it's almost like a banana split with vanilla ice cream. Definitely a bit of a chocolatey note in there, so like a milk chocolate note. Heavy vanillas, vanilla cream, so vanilla, that banana note, chocolate. I'm trying to dig to see if there's a little bit of that coffee note, but I'm not really getting it on the nose so much. Definitely very, very sweet nose, almost like a creme brulee, vanilla, chocolate, banana. And then there's almost like a marzipan note to this as well. So there's maybe like a little hint of nuttiness in there as well. All right, let's check this out on the palate. And I should mention as well before we start getting into the tasting on this one, this is actually bottled at 40% ABV or 80 proof, like most Jameson products. I also did do a little sort of mini review. It was actually, I think, when I hit 100 subscribers on the channel, and I did like the Caskmates edition, which was the IPA finished Jameson. Didn't like that one at all. It just had these like overly citrusy kind of bitter notes that didn't play very nicely with the Jameson. So not a huge fan of that one. Hoping this one's really good. And price point on this, it's very affordable. So I think it's about a $31 or a $32 Canadian bottle of whiskey. So right in around that $30 mark, super affordable, and it's readily available everywhere. So very easy to pick this one up if you choose to do so. All right, let's go in on the palate here. Cheers. Okay. It's actually different, quite a bit different on the palate than it is on the nose. What I get on the palate here is a malty characteristic, really heavy butterscotches and caramels, and then the finish on it is kind of like a light, almost like vanilla ice cream. So there's vanilla, butterscotch, caramel, maltiness, kind of a sweet honey note there as well. but not picking up any of that banana and chocolate on the palate. So that's kind of interesting that in this case, the nose and the palate don't really seem to sync up. But it is very easy drinking. I would say it's definitely thin. Of course, at 40% ABV, we're not expecting a huge kind of mouth coating experience there. It is thin on the palate. That's sort of to be expected. And the finish drops right off a cliff. So it's kind of there. You definitely get there's like the taste of the palate. Then there's a little bit of mid palate, and then it's just gone. There's basically no finish to this at all. But the flavors that are pretty pleasing and enjoyable. Let's go in for a second sip. Cheers. Yeah, so from what I remember of regular Jameson, this is adding a lot of the caramel, toffee, butterscotch, vanilla notes in there. There's definitely like almost like a butterscotch ice cream, like a butterscotch ripple ice cream flavor to this. Very, very smooth, easy drinking experience, very light on the palate. This sips dangerously easy. You could get into this with a friend and be halfway through a bottle over the fire or, similar circumstance, no problem. Definitely a very easy drinking dram. But what I do like about this is the flavors that are there are enjoyable. So I gotta say, for a Jameson, normally on Jameson I just get a lot of like ethanol and almost that nail polish remover. I'm not really detecting that at all on the palate here. That is kind of really masked by, if it is being masked, it's masked by caramel, butterscotch, vanilla, sweet flavors, maybe even a little bit of fudge in there, toffee. Nice flavors for sure. And at $30, I mean, that's kind of like, worth kind of the price of admission there. So I actually like this one. I recommend giving it a try. It's definitely an enjoyable sip. And thank you guys so much for joining me for another review. Until next time, may your sales be full and your drams be fuller. Cheers.